Good morning, everybody. It is week 25, episode 25. Another week, another cup of tea. 25 straight weeks of this is pretty awesome. And I appreciate that I still have people watching every week, hitting me up after each episode, letting me know how, they either relate or, they appreciate me speaking out on these topics. And yeah, so let's get into it. This week we're talking about regrets in our lives and being told we'll have regrets in our lives by other people. And as always, I speak from experience. I've heard it my whole life, whether it's people who told me I'm gonna regret my tattoos or regret not finishing college, or there's even people who tell me I'll regret these podcasts, which is crazy, because look, I speak from experience. I speak on the abuse I've encountered, on the neglect, on the disrespect, and look, I mean, I've always been overspoken. I've always been silenced. I've always been bribed. I've always been pushed to the side. So these podcasts are a great way for me to speak my mind, say what I have to say, and talk about my experiences and hopefully relate to you all. And I've heard people say, well, even if what you say is true, it's nobody's business. And now look, if they're my experiences, it's my business. And if it's my business, I get to decide who hears it and who knows about it. So my biggest thing to that is for anybody who's upset with these podcasts, for anybody who's upset that I've brought my experience to light, maybe actually watch these videos and listen to what I have to say. And instead of being upset that I've brought these experiences to light, maybe be upset with the people that have caused these experiences to happen. And with that being said, these podcasts aren't going anywhere. L'chaim. Wow. But yeah, man, let's get into it. So, as always, I speak from experience, and, I've heard it all the time. Oh, you're going to regret those tattoos. You're going to regret not finishing college. You'll never be able to get a good job. I mean, such a joke. I mean, really, you need a piece of paper for a good job. My tattoos make who I am. I wouldn't be me without my tattoos. But at the same time, I would. You know what I mean? I'd still have the same mentality. I'd always speak up against what's right or what's wrong. I'd always speak up for myself or people I care about. The tattoos don't make me not the same person mentally, if that makes sense. The tattoos, yeah, they're a physical thing. Maybe they make my image look bad to you. I don't know. And the college, same thing. Look, it's my image. Nobody else got to worry about my image. But being told that you'll regret something is crazy. I mean, has anybody ever actually been told they're going to regret something they do and then actually regretted it? Or have you just been told you're going to regret it and then you live your entire life never regretting it? Because that's how I feel that I'm at. I feel like I've always been told, oh, you're going to regret this, you're going to regret that. And I truly have almost no regrets in my life. I think the only regret I have in my life is going so long without speaking out against what's wrong. Speaking out against abuse I've encountered. And we've talked about, it's like, at what point do you draw the line of where you speak out? An example I used recently was when I was in college and I was dating a girl and I was being abused throughout that entire relationship physically and, in other ways, emotionally, mentally, whatnot. But I was being physically abused. And, when that relationship ended, at first I kept quiet. And then I heard through mutual friends that the woman was telling people that I was the abuser. I was the one who abused her. And unfortunately, people usually take the women's word when it comes to like domestic violence. But I stood up for myself. I spoke out. I told the truth. I told my story. I told him what happened. And when I made that video and when I made it public, people for the most part, told me, good for you. That's brave of you. Continue to be strong, whatever it was. So it's crazy because, when I do something similar and speak out against the abuse I've encountered as a child or as a teenager, even the emotional or mental abuse I've encountered as an adult by other people, it's wrong. It's nobody's business. I shouldn't speak about it. I mean, that's just wrong, man. It's wrong. don't be a hypocrite. If you're okay with one, you need to be okay with the other. And my whole point, and this is why I try to relate to people here, is if you feel like you've been silenced, you've been bribed, you've been outspoken, you feel like you just need to be quiet and, live your life in silence, you don't need to. It's not right for people to treat you a certain way and then have you hide it to protect their reputation. It's not right. And there's nothing wrong with you telling your story. There's nothing wrong with you speaking of experience and trying to help others. And my biggest thing to those who are upset with my podcast and think I'll regret my podcast, I've recently learned that some people judge my podcast based off what they hear from other people, and that they've never actually watched my podcasts and they've never listened to anything I've actually said, whether it's through these podcasts or in person. They just go based off what other people tell them. And to that, I say, don't judge my podcast. Don't judge my brand if you're just going based off what other people are telling you. There might be one or two people not happy with things I say on here. And then they go run and tell and whine about it to other people. And then it becomes a whole big thing. Whereas if people just sat down and watched and listened, they can judge it for themselves. Now, if they're still not happy with it, well, oh well, it's not going anywhere. But maybe they can sit back and watch and be like, wow, like, that's not right. He's right. This shouldn't be hidden. This shouldn't be, allowed to happen to anybody. But it is what it is. Again, I do everything with the mindset. I'm not some little immature brat that thinks there's no consequences to his actions. I put thought into everything. I'm not just out here trying to be a problem person. I put thought into everything. I'm very aware that I need to protect myself. I need to protect my family. I need to, protect my brand. I don't want to hurt my brand. I don't want to hurt my career. I'm not here to hurt anybody. If I wanted to hurt anybody, metaphorically, not physically, if I wanted to hurt anybody, there's so many experiences I've talked about where, I keep names out of it. I keep people out of it. I'm not here to hurt anybody. I'm here to speak from experience and let people know it's okay to speak out against what's wrong. So that's my thing, man. Like, I'm not here to hurt anybody. If I wanted to, believe me, I could drop names. I could show people videos, recordings, text messages of everything I've been through, but I'm not here for that. You know what I mean? I'm here to speak out against what's wrong, and relate to people who go through the same experiences. So look, regrets, and let's go back to the tattoos. I got to the point where I stopped telling people what I was getting done as a tattoo because just in life, whether it's family members, a girl I was dating, friends, I would tell people what I was getting and they'd be like, oh, you're going to regret that. Oh, are you sure you want that? Oh, that might be girly. That might be, oh, that's not really original. Like, a lot of people have that. And in my mind, I'd be like, oh, damn, like, they're judging me for this. I'm not going to get it. And I didn't get certain tattoos. And I think, later on in life, I probably looked back into my, like, design ideas. I'm like, oh, no, I do want this. And I ended up getting it. But that's the thing is, like, people put it in your head that you're going to regret this. It's not right. And then you don't do it. And in all honesty, you end up regretting not doing it. So the regret really comes into you listening to other people. You regret doing what they wanted you to do. And it's really not right. So my biggest thing to people who have ever told me that I'm going to regret something, whether it's not finishing school, whether it's getting tattoos, whether it's dating certain people, whether it's getting married, whether it's doing anything in my life, because it seems like no matter what I do, if it's not the exact thing that certain people want me to do, it's a fuck up. I'm going to regret it. It's not the right thing. So to those people who have told me I will basically regret everything I ever do and every choice I ever make, to you guys, I say, I think you all will regret not seeing me for who I am, not wanting to be around because, I don't do things you want me to do. I don't believe in things you want me to believe. Because look, I'm not here to be cocky. I'm not here to be, narcissistic or anything, but I think I'm a pretty great person. I have a good heart, and I think either people will die never realizing what they missed out on, or people will grow old and regret, look back and regret not wanting to be around, or maybe being so judgmental of who I am as a person, Because they didn't agree with things I did. They didn't agree with this podcast. They didn't agree with my tattoos, the not finishing school, the starting the Black Sheep brand and making things public. So yeah, that's what I have to say to you all who have always told me I'm going to regret doing something. I truly think you will be the ones having regrets, and it'll be that you didn't see me as the person that I am, and instead just judging me based off what you think you see and what you think you know and what you hear from other people, instead of just sitting down and getting to know me. So that's my message to you all. And again, for the people that have watched for the last 25 weeks, for the people that have messaged me every week afterwards and, you know, continue to support me, much love to you. I appreciate all of you. And to those who clearly watch and take bits and pieces and run with it to other people and tell them nonsense, you know, shame on you. Shame on you, man. If anybody has a problem with what I say, you can come to me, because I know everything I say is true. Whether you want it to be known or not, that's a different story. But everything I say on here is the truth. It's what I've encountered. It's what I've experienced. And nobody can tell me my experiences are wrong. Because most likely you weren't there. Or you were there and you want to believe a different story. So that's my message to you all. Live your life. You know, 90 years down the road, if you regret something, at least you had a great 90 years up to that point. Live your life, man. Don't listen to what people have to say. Do what makes you happy. And that's really my biggest message with the Black Sheep brand. So I think that's all I have to say. Next week, I want to talk about something that's kind of in the news right now. You all know I love Disney, and a live action version of The Little Mermaid is coming out. And, you know, people are all up in arms about how the actress is a woman of color playing a mermaid. I remember when the news broke out that she was the one who was casted a couple years ago, people broke out, oh no, she needs to be white. The cartoon is white, blah, blah. I mean, y'all are upset because a mermaid is going to be black. Listen to your fucking selves. But we'll get into it more next week. So as always, don't judge people. Don't be a dick. Stay beautiful. And peace out, Girl Scouts.